Well, my plan didn't go as I had hoped. Dadgummit, that wheel is still dirty. I've tried to clean it twice now. I'll get a towel and try to clean it. So this one, I made sure everything was approved before I worked on anything. I told you about her, I think yesterday. She called and I was out delivering a lawnmower. And she asked how much it was to get it serviced, and I told her a price. And then she says, well, I think there's also a belt. And I said, well, that's additional cost, depending on what the belt cost. Okay, well, do you pick up? Because I don't have a way to get it to you. I said, yeah, I'll pick it up for a price. So she said, okay, great. I said, I'll call you back when I get to the shop so we can schedule a pickup. So I call her back. And she says, well, just come over anytime on Saturday, because I won't be here. You'll see it, just grab it. And I said, okay, there's no police going to be called or anything? No, I don't live by anybody. So I get there, and she was right. Nobody lived there. Nobody was going to call the police. And I don't know how I missed this with the pressure washer. I try so hard to get these things clean. So I get there, I pick it up. Tires are flat, so we got to air up the tires. And I get it here. I order all the parts. And I think everything, let me try to think back. Oh, I told her, in addition to the belt, it was going to need blades. One of the blades was completely broke. And she said, okay, yeah, that's great. Go ahead and put the blades on. So I didn't charge her any labor for that because that was part of the service. I mean, I charged her for the blades, but not extra labor. Well, the next day I noticed the tires went flat. Well, I'm sorry, one of the tires went flat. The front left. So I got a hold of her and I said, look, there was no way to know this. The tires are flat after I aired them up, and it's going to need a tube. Well, I checked all 4 tires. I put soap on all 4. And that was the only one that showed a leak. So a while later, I came back outside and the front right had bubbles. So I'd already contacted her and told her it was going to need a tube. She approved the tube. So the front right was leaking. I was like, how did I miss this the first time? I don't know if I did miss it. It may have just developed. Maybe the soap just made that last little bit of material rot away or something. I don't know. But anyway, so I had an old used tube here. I thought, well, I'll just put that in because that's free. I don't need that. So I'll do the labor for free. Well, she contacted me. Is there anything else wrong with it? I said, no, it's just that there was an extra tire, but I'm going to do that one for free because I just somehow missed that one. So I explained it to her. She said thank you. So I guess that was on Sunday. Tuesday I got all the parts here and I put it all together. Serviced it, tuned it up, new valve adjustment, belt, tubes, blades. And that afternoon I said, hey, I got it ready. Now, going back to the original conversations, she mentioned that her husband has left her twice. So, just out of curiosity, I went to her Facebook page, and because she was, asking around about lawnmowers, and so I knew she was looking. She was interested when she called. What, Friday? I guess it was Friday she called. And as of February, her husband and her are, taking pictures with their arms around each other. So it must have been a recent breakup. So she's mentioned this twice. Now, to me, when somebody mentions a breakup, they're looking for sympathy because, I just felt like she was looking for a break. Give me a break. Well, I am a break. No matter how you look at it, I'm cheaper than anybody else. So, I can't go much cheaper. There's just not much cheaper I can go. So, like I said, I gave her the tire for free. Or the tube for free. So she, so Tuesday afternoon, I text out an invoice That way it's documented. And I don't have to have paper and all that. And I've looked into the legalities of that, and that's a legal document. This is what I'm charging. So I text her, and she replies back. So that makes it even more legal. And she says, I have wrist surgery tomorrow, so I won't be able to bring it over tomorrow. And I don't know how long they're going to keep me in the hospital. Wrist surgery, keeping you in the hospital, and you don't know when you're going to get out? Wow, that's strange. And you failed to mention this when I picked it up. You could have said, now next week I'm going to be in the hospital, so I can't get it back next week. Is that okay? You know, you could have said something like that. Or when I text you about the inner tube, you could say, hey, you know, I got this surgery coming up, so you might, you no hurry. But the first time she called, she asked, are you booked up? How long would it take? You know, that kind of stuff. I said 10 days, but usually I get it done in 2. So, and I wasn't that far off. Like, I picked it up on Friday. You don't count Saturday and Sunday because you can't get parts Saturday and Sunday. Well, you can't get them Sunday for sure. And then Monday I got the parts. Tuesday it was put together. So, you know, 2 to 3 days, however you want to look at it. So I reply back, well, just let me know when you're out of the hospital, and I'll try to, you know, schedule something so we can deliver it. So all day we've been trying to figure out what the plan is, what's she gonna do, because it's obvious she doesn't have the money. The surgery is a new development. She didn't mention that, and that just seems like something you wouldn't mention. You tell a guy that your husband just left twice, but you don't mention a surgery, which might interrupt the ability to return the mower and get paid. So I feel like that was a manipulation. I could be wrong. Maybe I get over there, she has a big old cast on her arm, and she just failed to mention it. I hope that's the case. But here's what we suspect, is she doesn't have the money. That's why she brought up the husband leaving twice. And now, you know, she's been given the bill, and she was hoping for a lot cheaper bill, even though she approved every dime. I mean, every dime. I called her up, I went through the entire list with her, told her about the blades, she understood the blades, told her about the service. She already knew about the service because I told her that on the very first conversation. Told her about the belt. She knew every charge. Then I texted her for the tubes, and she said, yeah, go for it, please do, that kind of thing. So what we suspect is going to happen is she's going to say, hey, I don't have all the money right now. You know, my husband just left. She's going to say that. And I got $100 this month that I can give you. Or 125. Because that's what the parts cost. And so we'll say, okay, yeah, we'll take payments. That's what she's hoping for. And then she'll give us the 125. But unless I want to go to small claims court, which I'm sure everybody knows I don't want to do that. That's more hassle than it's worth. She knows that I'm not going to pursue it. So she's gotten all this repair work for the price of parts. But what she doesn't understand, which I did try to explain to her, is she has an absolutely fantastic lawnmower. It's a John Deere X300. Now, it's a 2006, so it's 20 years old. So everybody, you're going to think, oh my goodness, 20 years old, that's terrible. But it's a X300. That's like their top of the line mower. It's got the extra residential size transmission. It's got a Kawasaki engine on it. I mean, it's just an absolutely fabulous motor. It's not leaking any oil. It's not burning any oil. Starts right up. It's got some scratches in it, but as far as rust, there's no rust. The pedals are still like brand new, which tells you it doesn't have a lot of hours on it. When you look at the hour meter, it's 274 hours. Of course, your brain tells you that's got to be 1,240 hours, but it's not. It's 240 hours. There would be other evidence, like the steering wheel would be real loose because the linkages over time would start to loosen up, but they're still good and tight. The only evidence that it's old is the tires were dry rotted and that belt broke. Everything else indicates it's basically a brand new mower that's been sitting around for 20 years. So it's a fantastic mower. So much so that if she defaults on paying it, because I'm not going to go with any payment plan, I'll just tell her, no, I'm going to hang on to it until you have the cash. And then 30 or 90 days or whatever it is, I'll send her a letter saying, I'm going to start the mechanics lien process on this. You can either sign it over to me and make it real easy, or we can go through the courts. But either way, you know, I'm going to have to take possession of this so I can sell it and get money out of it. But what Carolyn and I was talking is, we ought to keep this one if that happens. Let's hope it doesn't happen. But if that happens, we'll keep this one and sell my John Deere, because that's like, you know, really cheap compared to this one. This one's a real solid engine, motor, the whole thing. I mean, it's visually more broken. It's got a broken hood. The tires are dry rotted, whereas that one still looks really new. But I can get $1,500 to $1,600 or $1,700 out of that John Deere down there. I could get the same price out of this one. They're going for the same price. That one's 5 years old, that one's 20 years old, so that should tell you something. So I'm not hoping this is what happens. I would rather get my money in, because I don't want to have to go through all that legal mumble jumble. It's the worst part of this business. But the manipulation just never stops. Get a call right at 5 o'clock yesterday. And he says, how much does it cost to get my lawnmower fixed? And I said, I don't know what's wrong with it, sir. Well, the bearings that on the bolt that hold the blades on are wore out on both blades. And I said, oh, okay, yeah, and I gave him a price. I said, here's my labor cost for that. So I tell him. And the parts are going to be anywhere from $50 to $75 depending on what mower you have. Oh, okay. Well, I tell you what, I don't really know how to explain to you what's wrong with it. So I'm just going to bring it over. And you can take a look at it and tell me what you think. I said, I know what's wrong with it. The spindle bearings are bad. Oh, okay. And you don't think it'll be anything else? Not if they're just wobbling all over the place. That's pretty likely it's going to be the spindle bearings. Okay. Well, what would you charge if it's not? I said, I'm going to charge you the same price for my labor. The parts might change, but either way, an hour is an hour of work no matter how I look at it. Okay. Well, I'm going to try to bring that over to you. I got to get my parents to pick it up for me. And I said, okay, what time are you going to bring it? Oh, I don't know. Maybe Friday? So he's not going to bring it. So there again, manipulation. What he was hoping for is that he could bring it over, get me trapped into diagnosing it for free, which I do free diagnosis. He just didn't ask. I mean, heck, I gave him a free diagnostic over the phone. So he's hoping that I'll just say, oh, you know what, that's not as bad as what I was thinking. That's only going to be $10. So he's, you know, everything's a manipulation nowadays. It's quite fascinating. I really didn't realize how bad mechanics are manipulated. It's non-stop. Every phone call, there is manipulation going on. Well, I can't say every phone call. Got another phone call just right before his. And he said, what did he say? Oh, I got a Craftsman that won't start unless I use starting fluid. And then, I don't know if he said then it dies or what. If it dies, then it's good, you know, it needs a new carburetor cleaned. If it just dies, or if you use carburetor cleaner and it starts and stays running, then it's just a choke issue. Either way, I said, okay, yeah, I can take a look at it. He says, are you busy? I said, no, I always promise at least 10 days, but I try to get it done sooner. Okay. I'll bring it over Friday. And I said, okay, great, what time? He said, how about around 10? I said, perfect, 10 o'clock. So that one was pretty positive. I don't feel like there was any manipulation. He was just trying to tell me what was wrong with it, and I didn't catch if it was starts and dies or starts and runs. Either way, it's a carburetor issue. Easy fix. And I think that's the way all of them should go. I don't think there should be any manipulation. You know, I call the mechanic, and sometimes I get a little too chatty, trying to explain what's wrong with it. But I don't do it to say, hey, I want to try to get, knock some money off of. I just want to point them in the right direction so they're not chasing their tails. The last time I had a problem with it, I knew it wasn't going to show up as code. And he kept saying, well, we need the code. There is no code. Yes, there is. No, it isn't. Well, it turned out there was no code. So I had to keep pushing him in a direction to get away from that code reader and actually diagnose the car. So that's why I get chatty. But it's not because I'm looking for a deal. But everybody else is looking for a deal. The thing is, what they don't seem to understand is they're getting a deal just by coming here. So if you'll click this up next box, take the video over to my other channel, I'll really appreciate it. Go check it out. So I hope I can inspire you. Don't be a manipulator so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.